Okay. Welcome to the public zoning meeting of June 22nd, 2026. Bienvenue à la rencontre du zonage du 22 juin 2026. Est-ce qu'on peut commencer, s'il vous plaît?
Qu'il soit résolu que la présente assemblée publique soit convoquée selon l'article 34 de la loi sur l'aménagement du territoire 1990, soit ouverte à 16h01.
Oui.
T'as vite là-dessus.
OK. Oui, secondé par M. Contenu.
Oui.
OK. Tous d'accord?
Oui.
Oui, OK. Oui, M. Laflèche, est-ce qu'on peut... Tous d'accord, on est correct? On est ouvert, là?
Oui.
OK.
Parfait.
M. Laflèche, est-ce qu'on peut y regarder 2.1, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, alors cette réunion publique est une exigence de la loi sur l'aménagement du territoire et sert à recueillir les commentaires, les inquiétudes de la population en général vis-à-vis à la présente demande. Si une personne ou un organisme public ne présente pas d'observation orale lors de la réunion publique, le cas échéant, ne présente pas d'observation écrite à la municipalité de la Nation à l'égard de la modification, avant que la municipalité n'approuve ou ne refuse d'approuver la demande proposée, la personne ou l'organisme public n'a pas le droit d'interjeter un appel devant la décision, devant le tribunal. De plus, la personne ou l'organisme public ne peut pas être joint en tant que partie à l'audition d'un appel dont est saisi le tribunal, à moins qu'il n'existe de l'avis de cette dernière des motifs raisonnables de le faire. Et prenez note que seul le demandeur, le ministère des Affaires municipales et du Logement, la municipalité de la Nation ou tout autre organisme public qui ont présenté des observations orales ou écrites lors de la réunion publique à la municipalité de la Nation avec la décision ne soit rendue peut interjeter appel devant cette décision. Alors, on peut commencer avec le premier dossier, qui est le dossier ZBL2 2006. Monsieur Barnes, do you speak French, English? English? Okay. Let's present it in English. Why not? So, we received an application from the owner, Landrick Company, concerning the Willow Spring Subdivision Phase 2. The application is to change zoning mostly from single family dwelling into semi-detached dwelling for most of the second, third, and fourth phase in the subdivision itself. So under the provincial policy statement, the province wants us to start densifying, and with the market existing right now, this project is viable to have some semi-detached instead of those single-family dwelling that was presented since 2018 at the time. Still an old subdivision, so at the time it was different. It was pre-COVID. So the proposed zoning amendment does meet the intention of the provincial policy statement. Under the official plan, the property is under urban policy area. Within that policy area, we are trying to do some residential development. So this application also meet the intention of the zoning bylaw and the official plan at the time. So now, right now, what we're proposing mostly, it's to change the zoning category for, firstly, low-density residential zone exception R1X18 into the medium-density residential zone exception R2X23 that was adopted in the past. So mostly what's happening is that we had approximately around 140 single-family dwelling proposed in that subdivision. The proponent would like to reduce that by half and add some semi-detached dwelling, because at the time it was supposed to be maybe 24 semi-detached. Now they want to expand to have more semi-detached in the dwelling. So we're dropping about 50% from the single-family dwelling we used to having more semi-detached. Now, for some people, it would seem it's a big difference, but let's all be honest. In the eyes of the planning and the PPS and the official plan, single-family dwellings and semi-detached dwelling, both of them are considered to be low density in a project. We are even looking up to 4 units now that are considered to be low density. So the impact itself, servicing-wise, they're going to add more water and sanitary sewer capacity to the system, but they will sell more dwelling units at the same time. So mostly the existing Bordeaux Boulevard that was built in Phase 1 will remain single-family dwelling, and mostly all the strip in the future street going along the creek to the east of the subdivision will still remain also single-family dwelling. So we're dropping from around 140 single detached to about 71, 72 single detached at the end of the day. The rest will be replaced by semi-detached dwelling. Also, secondly, we have some correction on the plan also that was made in 2019. Actually, we zoned 4 single family dwelling lot at the time to high density. It was a mistake. It was a big zoning. We made some mistake at that time. It was blocks, not really the lots, but now we have the final fabric of it. So there's 4 lots that were made for single family dwellings, but they were zoned for high density. So we're adding those 4 into the equation. Also, we have some typo we made for the 3 semi-detached south of Cypress Street that were supposed to be semi-detached since day one, but unfortunately they were under R3 X3 being high density. So we just want to correct and bring them back to the medium density zoning. And also there's a portion of the lot finishing the draft plan that was zoned rural at the time, but in the draft plan it's supposed to be a semi-detached on that lot. So we're going to include it also into the amendment. So mostly it's a lot of correction. The last one was, at the time we decided to stop all townhouses to be blocks of 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 townhouse, stop, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop, space. At that time, the reasoning behind that is to allow more on-street parking for those streets. Because we know that the more townhouse you put on the street, the less street parking you have. Now, we were able to modify their building plans so we can allow the same amount of parking space on the street, but adding a 5th unit just by relocating the driveways of the unit. Instead of putting them outside the wall, we're bringing them more center, combining some driveways. So for the rest of Cypress Street that was already zoned for townhouses, we're going to withdraw the exception of one of those townhouses. We're able to be on a block of 5. Now we're going to let them, if it works, you can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors instead of 4 for that street. Because we were able to, like I said, locate the driveways and have those parking spots along the road since the older plan. So that's about it. We didn't receive any comments from any agencies, but we did receive 2 emails. I'll believe Mr. Barn, if you want to speak, I'll let you go and do your comments. But I will read the email of Mr. Smith, Jeffrey Smith, who wasn't able to attend tonight. So the comment of Mr. Smith are the impact on current property owners' investment. I already forwarded this email to Mrs. Langlois, so she can put it in a minute. So as someone who was an early buy into this project, this proposal is shifting the design of the community away from the concept which were originally sold. This raised concern regarding how the final outcome will reflect the community we bought into, along with what the impact could be on our property value. I believe that the provision of the rezoning to require a certain percentage, such as 45% of the lot in the affected zone, remain as single detached, would provide a good balance. There is also long-term benefit showing to having mixed housing type on the same street. If this is technically impractical, I believe the area I have marked in red, there's a sketch that was with red dashes in the attached image, should be kept as R1 X18. It is a good point that he's bringing, that yes, we should keep some of the single family dwelling within, but the 45% is, with the market that we see right now, is a little bit high. I do not have a lot of my new subdivision showing that much of single family dwelling now. Like I said, those draft plans were done pre-COVID. Post-COVID, it's a totally different approach right now. But like I said, let's all remember that semi-detached and single-family dwelling unit are both considered in the category of low-density development. Second comment, as many offering in our neighborhood are built without garage, I have concerns about the ability of homeowners to properly store outdoor items. I am already seeing outdoor clutter, and increased density could amplify this situation. I would recommend that 50% of the units be built with a garage or alternative outdoor storage such as shed. I have been a first-time homeowner and know how appealing the cost saving can be on the sticker price on a home, and have concern to the majority of the homes of 7 semis has a garage. Will end up being identical model without garage. This trend can be seen on Juniper, where only one of the semis has a garage. I think some people might overlook the benefit of this storage and end up paying more in the long run to build large shed. Again, it's a good comment, but the market being the market, we have other tools to control the outdoor storage. Like I said, having a garage, at least what we're doing with the model is that if somebody comes and buy the semi-detached, there's still enough space also to build a detached garage to the existing house, if necessary. But like I said, it is a plan to keep the price of the house as affordable as possible. As you know, in this market, it's pretty high. Oh, well, I thought there was 4, but there was only 2 comments from Mr. Smith. Now I will invite Mr. Barn, if you want to come and have a discussion with council.
Just to remind you to make sure the green light on the microphone is on there.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having the time. Thanks, Mr. Guillain, for specifying, you said 50% or out of 141 homes to go down to 74 single detached. That wasn't very well displayed in the zoning letter that we got, because most of my concern was buying an $800,000 house in a single family detached neighborhood with a young family of 3 girls, and that was our plan, to stay here a long time, growing up in a neighborhood of single family detached, wanting to give that to our children and seeing that in our community as well. Understandably, the market is changing, but I don't want to have a negative impact on my property value being surrounded by lesser valued homes. I don't feel like that'll be a good representation of my investment, and nor was it my plan to buy into a neighborhood of semi-detached homes. The proposed of 50% semi-detached, I'm for. I knew there was semi-detached on Juniper. I knew phase 2 was going to be high density. We were well aware. We positioned our house to be at the end of that, to be surrounded more of single-family detached. So as we look on the plan, the single-family detached on the outside, if we can continue that on Juniper, so that it's a formal loop around the neighborhood, that would be a good compromise. Like I said before, there was no indication that some of those houses inside of the proposed rezoning is going to be single detached. If that was communicated better, it would be easier for us as homeowners in that area directly impacted to have a better understanding of what's their planned phasing is going to be. So just thank you for your time. This is just a concerned citizen wanting to preserve my investment. Thank you.
Mr. Barn, what is your address yourself?
I'm at 262 Bordeaux.
260?
262 Bordeaux.
Oh, okay, 262. Okay, so you're giving on that empty land for now behind your place?
That's correct, yeah. And you specified that it's to be semi-detached behind me, right?
Yes, that property will be passed on to Parc des Dunes Phase 2. It was under a different zoning.
Right, okay. What was the company again?
Parc des Dunes Phase 2, it's the other subdivision.
The TMJ group?
Yeah.
Another point of my thought process as well was we didn't know that Landrick would be selling to TMJ a lot of the properties, and then TMJ is then turning them into rental properties, which is not what we bought into, again. So my fear as well is if we subdivide it more into semi-detached, that it's going to be more rental units and less single-family homes for the long term, which has a direct impact on the well-being of the yards, as Mr. Smith has pointed out. So that's another concern of ours. And I speak from other neighbors who can't be here today as well. We've kind of huddled and talked about it, and this is not what we had first invested into. Have we have known this would be semi-detached, perhaps I wouldn't have bought on Bordeaux. So it's just not necessarily fair for those who bought in stage 1. Thank you.
Yeah, as shown on the plan, like I said, we're gonna try to keep as much possible our single detached along the creek. Juniper will become semi-detached, like it already existing on one side. We're gonna bring it to the east. I would like, if you guys want to have a look at that bylaw, it's the 107/2026 to be adopted tonight. You'll see the sketch. What can we say? Semi-detached are a very good investment. Concerning the rental unit you're talking about, it's a big push from the province to have those accessory apartment. All the singles can technically have, when we have the services, a single. And you're right, there's a lot of rental and investment properties that we see. Like I said, since those new direction from the province, a lot has changed since the approval of that subdivision at the time. So like I said, just just to clear up, I was saying like the single family dwelling all along the rim, but not on Juniper. I just want to make sure that I want to make that little correction so there's not miscommunication.
Right.
Like I said, will it change again in the future, Mr. Barn? I don't know. Maybe in 3 years from now, we're going to come back and have another zoning. We never know. Depends on the market. It depends on the capacity of the municipality to allow. But like I said, single-family dwellings market is getting slower and slower. And it's not just in the nation, it's pretty much all around.
Yeah. I know since the government came in with the HST rebate there, it's pushing a lot of new builds to have. And it seems the sweet spot is townhouses and semi-detached for younger families and young couples just getting into the market. So it's, yeah. But I do understand your point there, Mr. Barnes. It's when you buy into that, you don't expect that to happen, and I do empathize with you for sure. Okay, now is there any other questions or comments? Yes.
My only question would be in regards of the townhomes going to 5 and the width of the streets. As you know, in my ward, which is that one right there, there are a few of the roads that are a bit narrow, and we're getting on-road parking on both sides. It's a problem for emergency services. It's a problem for school buses. And I just want to make sure that if we're building something new, we're building it right. And we're not going to run into these same problems where we have school buses that are unable to pass by. So that's a bit of a concern of mine for this area.
Yeah. The streets are the same standard. It's our diligence on our side that we should look into putting a no parking sign on one side of the street. You cannot build the street wider than what they are right now. People parking on the road, we always going to have parking on the road. The standard of road is the same standard that we see pretty much everywhere. But like you said, say parking on the side of the road, well, some people, it's parking on the side of the road. Some people leave 2 feet before hitting the curb, say. Mm-hmm. So it does create issues. We do have some solution for those. It's like putting a no parking on one side of the road. Now it's going to be your decision at that point if you want to apply those. Concerning, we have learned since at Slane Street to push the houses a little bit further from the curb. So at least we do have a full 2-car parking in the driveway, because at the time, well, in the early 2000s, we thought the garage would be used as a parking spot too. We don't see that happen. So what we've decided is to push the houses a little bit further back. So we have a full 2-car parking. Again, can't control what people buy. If we have an owner buying 2 F-250, well, yeah, we're going to have a problem. It's going to come back. But at one point, we have to stop pushing the houses even further back. We're getting out of the standards of the industry also. We are one of the most severe municipality as front setback right now. And the new municipalities are not going further. I even seen some bylaws, they're getting closer, a little bit more driveways. Like I said, it's something that we're trying to do, but we should deal with the issues of the no parking sign on one side in the future, if council decides to go this way.
Thank you.
So like I said, this is the amendment proposed. I believe that it does meet the intention of the PPS and the official plan, and even the intention of the development. I understand Mr. Barnes and some neighborhoods, okay, it's a little bit more people, as you can say, in the subdivision since the first draft. But as I said, semi-detached and single-family dwelling are considered to be both low density at the end of the day. So it's a mix and match, and we're gonna. That's about it. Oh.
Sorry, to clarify that, you said the semi-detached and single-family and the low density?
Yeah, in the eyes of the PPS, single.
So then why do you need to rezone it?
Because our zoning bylaw is not made for that assumption. Our zoning bylaw that date from 2006. So we had a zoning separating single dwelling and semi-detached dwelling.
Okay, so the R2 would allow it for semi-detached?
Yeah, R2 right now allows for single-family dwelling also.
Right, okay, just,
So they could have, if they want to decide, they could find by the way, also, they find an owner who wants to buy a semi-detached lot and build a single-family dwelling home, he's more than welcome. The chance of seeing that, it's always possible also.
Right.
But what's happening is that the density itself that we're looking over the policies and the zoning bylaw that we write, it's two different things. Policy-wise, we're looking at, like I said, low density, even up to the townhouses, the 4 blocks of townhouses are even considered at some places low density because it's so low. In the nation municipality, we just have different categories for those.
okay, I'll just ask the council, so Guylain reference that 141 semi-detached was reduced to 50%. Could we just make sure that keeps at 50%? Thank you.
If council want that, I'm gonna have to go and calculate every house and propose. I want to make sure about my number. But if we don't pass the bylaw tonight, I'm just gonna slow down. We don't have a meeting until August 31st. So if this is the intention of council, I will follow your, we'll have to adopt the bylaw, and I'll bring you the exact percentage of what the proponent wants at that time, and we won't pass the bylaw tonight.
Again, council, if we had a nice clear representation of what the zoning and what the numbers would be presented in the mail, we could, as residents, we'd be able to make a clear representation of ourselves to you. So maybe that number percentage would be a better accurate way to formulate a proper rezoning for our neighborhood. Thank you.
So, sorry, so you're saying in the letter you didn't get the percentages, as far as?
No.
That's correct. So there's no indication of how many units may be reduced to semi-detached. Just an outline of what is being rezoned. And it would be under my assumption as a reader that the whole zone would be semi-detached, not the indicated 50%. So I calculated as 17 single families to be remaining, which I feel is an unfair proportion.
You have to calculate also the ones who are built
That wasn't.
in your percentage. Well, that
Is that
could be
my
different.
duty as a?
No, it's not your duty. I'm just saying the one who are all, because let's all remember, phase 1 was 85% single-family dwelling. You understand? But if you want to have a precise number, Mr. Barn, I can come back with a precise number of every unit. Townhouses, semi-detached. It could differ, like I said, 50% was an estimate, it's a ballpark. But if I can come with an exact number, if it's useful for your decision tonight, for that bylaw, I can do that, yes. That's why we're here tonight, it's to receive comments from the public also. Now, at the end of the day, my question, if it's 50, 40, or 30, will it make a decision change for council? Because let's all remember.
That was going to be my comment. I don't.
Even if it would be 100% of semi-detached are more than welcome in this subdivision. They could come with 100% of semi-detached. At the end of the day, they still meet the PPS and the official plan intention.
Right, and that was
You
going to be my
understand?
comment. I think even if we did try to put a limit on it or whatever we want to do, if that got bumped up to the province, we wouldn't have a leg to stand on as far
No.
as trying to implement it, right? Because the provincial laws and policies really pushing for like that density to go up as high as possible. So if we were to sit here and say, look, we're going to guarantee that it's 50%, the proponent can make an appeal to the province, and we wouldn't have a legal leg to stand on. So that's where, like, we're always thinking a little bit ahead of time, and I do empathize with your situation. But I just, whenever we look at policy and the way we're having these things pushed on us and the way the province is going forward, I always think past our decision here, do we have a legal leg to stand on? And this one here, I don't think we do, because again, it meets every policy, every provincial policy that's there, and the standards that are there presently. The proponent, what he's asking, it meets every one of them. So we wouldn't have a legal, like, we can even say we're down to one semi-detached to protect your investment, and they would appeal that, and we wouldn't have two words to say about it. So it has a lot to do with, does it meet the standard? Do we have water and sewers to meet what's being asked of us? And both answers are yes. So we would have a hard time limiting that, unfortunately. So that's my answer to you, unfortunately. I understand your concerns, and I do empathize once again. But when it comes to these types of things, our hands are tied many times. Like, we don't have the authority that we many people think we do as far as limiting growth and how it goes forward. The province really, when they change policy or when they say this is what it is, then that's what it is. So, but as far as the number, though, I think Elaine will get that to you for sure. I think that way it gives you better information for sure. And I think it is also a lesson for us going forward. Maybe when we do issue these letters, maybe it'll.
Just to be honest, Mr. Barn, I don't, for public, like I said, it's an estimate of the 50%. It's not an accurate number. So I just want to make sure it's in public. If you want me to calculate every one of them, I can make it so. For you, it depends on council decision also. But like I said, I don't want you to attach me, oh, it's more than 50%. And what is the 50%? Are we looking 50% for the whole subdivision or 50% in that second phase? We would need some discussion on this. Yeah, feel free.
Thanks for taking the time and hearing my comments and concerns. Yeah, so like I said, we bought into a phased development process that was clearly labeled, and deviating of that zoning conflicts with our initial investment and our initial family plan, which affects our lives. So, yeah, the numbers would be helpful, and not to harp too much. But if you're not accurate with the numbers, how can you say them in the first place? That's what I'm hearing is, like, you're saying it's going to be 50%, and then you're saying your numbers aren't accurate. Well, then we'll go back to the drawing board and make them accurate, so then the residents can make an educated decision, and the council can make an educated decision based on the real numbers.
I can do that. I will bring you a number of the percentage for the whole subdivision or that phase. What would council like to be informed?
Well, I think I think for that phase at least, that way we'll. That's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has any other intention, but I think for that phase, and then because again, as far as this file is concerned, it's only for that phase, right? Mm-hmm. So we may have to deal with a further rezoning later on down the road, but I think for this phase and for what we're talking about today, those numbers would be handy, I think.
I would think so. I think the residents will like now getting this letter. Obviously, I didn't get the letter, but like getting the letter, they're probably maybe in a panic mode also thinking, oh my God, this is not what was like planned when I decided to move here. And I could see that when we got our house built in Limoges. So I think maybe having the number for that zone will be good. So it'll give them a peace of mind knowing what's coming, what's further. It might make them make decisions that are going to be different depending on what the number will be also. So I think I think that would be good to just have.
Yeah, and there's also, like, I'll also put a little bit of the onus on the developers as well, because it does get sold to you in this, and as the developer goes on, he sees the ability to maybe make more money as he densifies, and then changes as he goes along. And then again, we're a little bit we do have some, don't get me wrong, but we're a little bit powerless to stop some of that densification because it does fall within the policies that he's asking. So we do take some onus, but it is the developer as well that as the project evolves, they tend to see that maybe the market isn't what it is, and then secondly, maybe they can make more money going forward. So for that, again, I empathize with you. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Just to make sure also, do you need this number exactly for the decision of council?
Tonight, I don't think so. And again, my opinion, I don't think it'll have an impact on the decision. I just want, for information purposes, for this gentleman and going forward with the neighborhood themselves, I think it'd be good to have that information.
I've noticed, I
because
know it's 4:30 p.m. If you just want to hold on this one, Mrs. Clerk, I could probably pass the ZBL 6 2026 because I see that Mr. Laroche is in the audience. After that, if you give me 3 minutes, I can go calculate the number and
Okay.
could come
is
back.
that fair
and
to you?
After that.
Okay, then let's
After
do that
that,
then. Okay.
Because I would like to, if it's feasible and with your patient, and I'm sorry about council meeting, I would like to resolve this as soon as possible because of the instance that the next
we have
council
6
meeting
weeks
is,
after that we need.
it's
yeah.
August 31st.
No, I agree with
so
this.
if you don't mind, I would
wholeheartedly.
like to bring
Let's do that, yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put a notice on the second stream for the regular council meeting that the meeting is delayed.
Okay,
And
thank
I'm
you.
working with comms right now to put out a post on social media to say that the meeting will be delayed by a few minutes.
Fair enough.
So like that people are not waiting for the second meeting.
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, do you want me to go calculate it right now?
No, I think let's
Or
do
I can do Mr. Laroche?
Ouais, je pense que celui-là, il est assez,
OK.
est assez facile, d'après je peux voir, là.
Okay. Just bear with us, Mr. Barnes. We'll get to an answer for you. Alors, on va passer au dossier ZBL 6-2026, qui est une demande de changement de zonage de M. Laroche, qui est dans la salle avec nous pour le 68 rue Andrew. Dans le cas du 68 rue Andrew, c'est pour maximiser la propriété pour construire une maison unifamiliale à l'arrière de la maison qui existe déjà. Donc, le zonage actuel dans l'ancien Limoges, comme vous le savez, est zoné résidentiel moyenne densité, qui est R2. Dans ce cas ici, pour permettre le morcellement, vu que la zone R1 demande des plus petites façades, comme dans les lotissements, ici, on réduit. Mais c'est simplement... On réduit à R1, c'est pour permettre justement de la construction sur un terrain qui a 15 mètres de façade au lieu de 20 mètres, comme qui serait permis dans le R2. Alors, dans ce cas ici, c'est que tout l'ancien Limoges, on l'avait zoné à R2 à cause des grandes façades que les terrains avaient historiquement. Ici, dans ce cas ici, on le ramène à R1 pour cette section-là, pour permettre le morcellement de terrain pour une nouvelle maison qui donnerait façade sur la rue Herbert. On n'a pas eu de commentaires concernant ce dossier-là des agences. Aviez-vous des questions?
Aucune? OK.
Parfait.
I think we'd better go on break while you
Oui.
go do some math, and after that we'll...
Ah,
Oui. Ça n'a pas rapport avec moi, mais j'ai entendu tantôt dans tes comments, puis les votes, le tien, juste pour savoir, ce que moi, j'étais dans une impression qu'il n'y avait plus de service d'eau et d'égout. Puis là, vous faites une demande qui n'a pas rapport avec moi, mais que j'entends, puis là, supposément que vous avez des services d'eau et d'égout pour approuver plus de semi-détachés. C'est quoi le... Parce qu'on est sous l'impression, tout le monde de Limoges, qu'il n'y a plus d'eau et d'égout, nulle part. Pour faire aucune séparation, aucune filling lot, rien. J'aimerais ça avoir la réponse pour voir c'est quoi exactement, parce qu'on est sur impression de deux différentes manières. C'est tout.
M'a différé la
parfait.
question.
Les lotissements en question sont déjà réservés, M. Laroche. Non. C'est que, oui, non, c'est correct. C'est qu'on a un montant X d'unités. C'est vrai qu'on rentre plus de densité dans la phase, pour le zonage seulement, mais pas toutes les semi-détachés vont être bâtis, là. Il va avoir le même montant d'unités, c'est juste que là, pour la portion qu'il veut développer, il va pouvoir les utiliser à la future du marché. Mais il n'y en aura pas plus. C'est pas à cause qu'il y en ouvre plus qu'il y en a
C'est ça.
plus. C'est ça.
C'est justement ça.
C'est quoi les nouvelles qu'est-ce qui se passe dans le futur en ce moment? On le sait-tu? Qu'est-ce qui se
Non,
passe dans
non,
le futur?
à ce moment-là, on ne le sait pas. Ça serait une question à poser à M. Pigeon pour le développement de l'eau et l'égout à Limoges. Ça serait durant une réunion du conseil, ça n'a pas vraiment avec la réunion de zonage. Parfait.
Ouais, c'est bon.
Parfait.
Okay.
Okay, alors je nous mets en pause pour 10 minutes.
Oui.
Juin. So we'll go on break for 10 minutes to give them the chance to make the calculations, and we'll return. And once that file is done, we'll go to the public session. Thank you. And we are back live.
Okay, so we're back with the calculations, so I'll let Monsieur Laflèche here speak to the numbers, and
Yes.
so we have some.
So in the leftover of the subdivision, there was actually right now there's 30 existing singles on Bordeaux. The leftover of the subdivision was supposed to have 105 single left. They have reduced that to 33 left, so that's 33% approximately, a little bit more accurate. And also that means that there was 24 semi-detached in the original that are all built in the phase 1. So they added 53 more semi-detached. So they exchanged 72 single-family dwelling to create 53 semi-detached. That's the exactly.
Technically, let's call it 30 some more odd
Yeah.
doors more.
So it's not 50%. Sorry about that, guys. It was more than 30. It was closer to 33%.
Okay.
That's left in the second phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions or comments concerning what we just heard as far as information goes? So I'll pose the question to you. Are you okay with that info now? Okay. So then I think we can move on. Then.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
thank
good
you.
with that. Thank you, Mr. Barnes, for your participation.
So for the rest of the meeting, so we can adjourn with this,
Yeah.
and then we'll go straight into the regular session as scheduled.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'll just read the resolution. Be it resolved that the public meeting convened under Section 34 of the Planning Act be adjourned at 4:42 p.m. proposed by Monsieur Lalonde, seconded by.
Mr. Stewart.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to terminate this stream. If anyone is joining us online, they can join